On this episode of Star Wars Time Show, we're getting crazy. That's right, we're doing our first ever interview. We're growing up. I don't know what to tell you, but we've got SirDork 730 on the podcast. Cue the music. Everyone, welcome back to a brand new, and as you just heard from our lovely announcer, a super duper special episode of Star Wars Time Show. And why is that? Well, you should already know. Well, you might not know if you're just a casual Star Wars fan and you're not nutty like me and you get crazy with your toys and you take them out and you play with them. You go, hey, how you doing, buddy? You want to take some pictures? But we've got a special guest. And even if you are just a straight up Star Wars fan, you probably saw this guest last week during the Triple Force Friday live stream reveal, because he was there. Yes, this guy's got some weight, and I'm talking about none other than SirDork 730 on Instagram, aka Jared Middleton. Welcome to the show, Jared. How you doing, buddy?
Thank you, sir. It is an honor, to say the least. I'm a Star Wars Time Show fan.
Heck yeah, and that's why we've labeled Jared one of our GOATs. If you are a loyal listener, especially in the toy community, toy photography community, you know exactly who SirDork is. I'm going to drop the 730 stuff. There's only one SirDork in my book, and that is Jared. So, I mean, Nick and I have been talking for months. Like, we want to start doing interviews. We want to interview the community. Right. We want to talk to the toy photographers, all this fun stuff. But then we never do it. We just sit around with our thumbs up our asses and just talk about Star Wars nonstop. So I took advantage of Nick flying away to Italy to get a little chubby. I needed a partner on air because I can't just do this by myself all the time. I don't think it's that exciting just listening to my gas bag mouth flap nonstop. So I reached out to Jared last week after seeing his awesome opportunity with the TFF live stream, and he was gracious enough to come on. So this is kind of how we're going to do things with Mr. Dork here. We're going to get to know him. I mean, yes, he is a excellent toy photographer. He's huge, got a massive account. But we want to get to know the man a bit. We want to get to know the Star Wars fan in Jared. So that's how we're going to go. So it's going to be a fun little conversation. I guess first things first, Jared. I mean, I don't know much about you outside of your SirDork persona. I mean, just give us an idea if you want to. I mean, you don't have to, but what part of the country are you in? How old are you? I mean, are you a prequel generation Star Wars fan, an OT generation? I mean, let's get some insights into who Jared is as a person here.
Well, I was born in '92, so I'm 27.
So you're like a Nick's generation, a little younger than Nick.
Yeah, so I'm 100. I mean, I'm a lover of every generation, obviously, but I definitely would say I'm a prequel guy. I mean, I was 7 years old when I saw Phantom Menace, and I fell in love with Jar Jar Binks, and I still, to this day, I love that guy. So
there you go. Hey, there's nothing wrong with Jar Jar. I know he gets a bad rap from old people like me. I never hated him. To me, he's not even remotely close to what the problem is with some of the prequel movies. But
right,
I get it, man. I mean, everyone's gonna latch on to these different trilogies, and it's unfortunate what's kind of happened with the Disney stuff. I still don't quite understand the negative backlash to all that. But hey, we're not going to get into that. Maybe next week, if you do the proper show with me, we can get really fandom nerdy.
We can dig deep.
Yeah, totally. All right, so good deal. So just getting into your fandom now, I guess you kind of told us, basically since what, you were 7? Was it the movie that did it for you, or were you kind of in the Star Wars before that?
It's kind of weird. Like, I don't remember the first time I watched a Star Wars movie. It's just like something that's always been there. Like, I've always watched the original trilogy with my brothers. We had that the golden the 90s re-release with the newer effects.
The box
when you opened
set,
it up and closed it, it farted. Like,
there you go.
You know what I'm talking about? Where you close the cardboard.
Gas. Yeah.
So I mean, we grew up watching those.
So you had little Jared sitting there going
over and over,
right?
And I would still to this day do the same thing if I had it in my hands. But and you know,
you guys threw it out? You didn't keep it? You're not that type of collector where you keep everything?
I know exactly where it is, but it's at my brother's house. Unfortunately, it's not in my possession, but he ended up with a lot of things. So are you the
youngest of the clan here then, Jared?
Right, yeah, I have 2 older brothers, and Yeah, we're all Star Wars fans. I think I've gotten a little bit deeper into it since I literally spend all my time photographing
Yeah,
Star
totally.
Wars
I mean,
toys.
you kind of are one of the Star Wars photographers at this point. You know, one of the go-to. Hey, who's doing something rad in Star Wars photography? SirDork.
I mean, I'm doing everything I can.
Hey, you did something right, buddy? I mean,
I
something
guess.
you've done has worked out because some major doors have opened for you over these past, what is it, like the last year. Did you go? Are you the guy that went viral on Facebook last
Right.
December? Is
Yeah.
that's you,
I'm
right?
that guy. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was quite the experience. I mean, I started like doing videos a little bit, and I think one of them went viral on Reddit first, and then filled up with a bunch of people just talking shit about me, which is fine. And I thank every single one of them because it
Heck
helped
yeah.
with the whole scenario. And then one person asked me, "Hey, can I make a video and put it on Facebook?" And it was this like this Facebook page called Bored Panda, and they made it and they put it out there, and this like just went everywhere, I guess. And they used a bunch
That
of really
is
old videos, really old photos that I look at now and I'm like, why would you use that? But I literally owe them the world. I just got super lucky, like
Oh, it's awesome, dude. I mean,
super
trust
lucky.
me. You're talking to some guy that's been creating content on the web since 2010, has had one or two things get a little crazy on YouTube, but never in terms of like an account just blowing up. And I remember it last year. I mean, people know I did toy photography. I've been doing it for a few years. IG fucking hates my guts, so no one really ever sees my shit. But that's neither here nor there. But I remember like, dude, you see what this guy's doing with pictures? I'm like, yeah, it's cool. I've seen it. I'm glad he's getting this exposure because it's kind of like this little closed community on IG that I don't know how many people know about.
Right.
But
Right.
I had a feeling once that broke that whoever's account that was going to skyrocket. And here we are. I believe, what are you approaching 50,000? Or probably with the Star Wars bump, you're at 50,000, right?
Not quite, but
Not quite.
yeah, I mean that whole explosion on Facebook
Yeah, we'll
was
get there, people. I mean,
yeah,
just wait
changed
until
my
you
world.
hear what this guy got to do. I still want to figure out how it all went down. I mean, I'm eager to learn that story. But back to your Star Wars fandom, brother. I mean, so it sounds like the maybe going to a movie star. You don't even know. It's just kind of always been in your soul. I guess when it gets down to brass tacks, do you have a favorite movie out of the we have like 10 or 11 films at this point?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, every one of them has got its own little spot in my heart for sure, but I think the biggest spot is for that one Phantom Menace.
Hell yeah,
I
dude.
love that movie. I don't think there's any movie I could quote like I can that movie. I think I can go the entire movie
I'm glad to hear
quoting
that
everything.
because I've actually, it was a few months ago, I put out a video post that no one probably saw because our YouTube's still kind of tiny. Because at one point in time, people, I don't know if you remember, I'm still running entertainmentboo.com. I'm going to kill it probably next year just because it's ran its course. But that's where Nick and I started doing Star Wars
Right.
time. It was under the umbrella of the Entertainment Budacast.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so we're finally over here. We had to start everything new. We got our own website, all that fun stuff. So that's why a lot of the shit I'm making, at least on Star Wars Time YouTube, isn't quite getting the traction. But I did a video basically saying I have all these reasons why The Phantom Menace is not the worst Star Wars movie. Because if you do a search on Google for the worst Star Wars movie,
That
the
comes up,
articles
huh?
that will come up first shit on TPM. My friend.
Ah, that's a shame. And I
And I'm
mean,
with you. I'm
I,
with you. It's the best prequel in my opinion, hands down. Like I don't even think the other two compete.
yeah.
Attack of the Clones is just straight garbage in terms of cinema. In terms of just good cinema, it's just not good.
Yeah, it's funny with those movies. Like I loved them from the second they came out, and the more and more I watch them, like as a quote unquote adult, I'll see like, okay, I see why everyone hates this
Yeah,
movie.
you're a little
And
kid. You're probably like, man, you guys are a bunch of assholes. Like,
right
fucking leave me alone. I like this shit. I don't care.
at that age, I didn't even know.
I was 19 or 18 19 when Phantom Menace came out. I saw
Yeah.
it 10 times in theaters. I mean, I still thought it was great. Then Attack of Clones came out, still super jazzed. Yeah, the fucking prequels, and I went and saw it early. I was like, I don't know. Yeah, new Star Wars. I was still like that, like yeah. And then I
In
watched
denial.
it again, I was like, okay. Well, maybe it'll get better in Revenge, and then that comes out, and it's like, okay, yeah, it's technically a better movie. But I don't know if you've heard any of my old prequel diatribes, and I try not to do it too much anymore because I used to go nuts. I mean, I used to do the show drunk, literally. We would record on Friday nights after I was at the bar for like 3 hours, and I'd just be out of my mind talking shit on the prequels. I basically sounded like the troll bags with the Disney stuff with the prequels.
Oh yeah.
But I have legitimate beef with Revenge because of how it treated Anakin's fall. I thought it was unearned. It was too convenient. They never really, in the live action prequels, set up how someone like Anakin could do what he did. Now they made up for it in the Clone Wars, but that's where we're at. So
that added so much more. And one of the things that's actually been kind of cool more recently is like I guess it's because my generation's a little bit older, so I've been seeing more and more like love for those movies start to like come out of nowhere, and it's like I'm glad to see it because I love those movies too.
Yeah, I mean I've got a 3-year-old now. She loves Star Wars, and she's not a huge fan of the prequels, but again, Phantom Menace, Jar Jar, she'll watch that 2 or 3 times a day if she's feeling it. So yeah, you're 100%. I also think, and this is weird, I don't know if it's like you guys trying to get payback on us for shitting on your stuff, but I think the most vocal Disney Star Wars trolls are the prequel generation.
Really?
That's my take. I don't find too many original trilogy, like older guys and gals, getting too upset about the Disney stuff. I don't know. I mean, a lot of times, dude, I pull hot takes out of my bunghole, so you just got to go with it, I guess. That's my opinion, you know?
I guess I've never really noticed. I'm just so used to so many things that I love, like be hated on. There's so many things that like are my favorite things that like everyone else just seems to hate for some reason. Like,
well, you know what, Jared? You're a healthy individual. You're someone that can navigate the internet without letting it make you nuts. Unfortunately, my little jobbies here with these websites and podcasts, I kind of have to dig into the shit sometimes and roll up my sleeves. So I'm exposed to a lot of the hate, and it does get depressing. It's just like, fuck. I mean, even people sometimes when we're putting stuff out or I'm putting out news posts on IG, some of the comments I just like, oh fuck, man.
Yeah. Well, it's just doesn't matter where you go, you're gonna get a little bit of that.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Yeah. No one can ever be happy with anything, and the best part is this is all fake science fiction nonsense. Like, it's not real life at all, but that's how we treat it.
And we fight over it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So film TPM. My follow up to this was going to be favorite trilogy then, and I kind of have an inkling where we're going with this.
That's for some reason like much more difficult of an answer.
I mean, I guess it's not a great question because the third trilogy isn't complete yet, and clearly Tross can. I believe Tross is either going to redeem the entire trilogy for people that hate it, or for people like me that have enjoyed the 7 and 8. It's hopefully going to put an emphatic stamp on another solid trilogy. But any of them stand out?
Yeah, I think. I mean, if I were to choose one, I don't really want it to sound like I love way more than the other at all. But I would probably end up choosing not the prequels, but the Age of the Republic. Right? Isn't that how we're saying it now?
Those are the prequels.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's.
So it's Age of Republic, Age of Rebellion, Age of Resistance.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
right. You corrected me on that. I forgot. It's no longer the PT, OT, and ST.
Right. I want to be politically correct.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. This guy has essentially rubbed shoulders with Star Wars royalty at this point. So.
I mean, I don't know about that.
He's got to walk the company line. All right, so speaking of favorites, any character that's just like that's my guy or my girl? Alien, or that's my thing?
Oh, well, I think Darth Maul is my favorite character. Ever since that time, he just showed up in my life. I thought he was the coolest thing ever. And I don't know if this counts, but I just absolutely am in love with any kind of stormtrooper. And it's kind of weird to say my favorite character is a stormtrooper, but that might that might be the more accurate answer for me to say. It's all I ever
All
want to
right.
buy are the
I
Troopers.
like it. I mean, I'll give you the two-parter on that because you had to pick one. You did, and he's a fantastic choice. I mean, who would have ever thought Maul would have had the life that he's had
I know.
after what happened to him in TPM? So,
And yeah, just what like a different character he is now as opposed to when we first
oh
met
yeah,
him.
I mean,
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
arc on Clone Wars and then followed up on Rebels, some of the
Spectacular.
best storytelling, without a doubt.
Yeah, and we're getting more of him too, which is just I don't know when it's gonna end, which is fine with me.
No, I'm good with it. I
Yeah,
mean, that's
same.
why I always yell about Bob Iger and him putting the brakes on just because he fucked up and released Solo too early because
know.
he was scared about Mary fucking Poppins.
I
It's
know
like,
we
no,
could have. So that's we mean we may see the older Darth Maul in the Kenobi series, or we may see him. Who knows? There's plenty of
Yeah,
places
no,
we
I'm
could end
all
up seeing
about
him.
that. Even if they, there's been rumors out there they may punt Solo to Disney Plus. I mean, a lot of people I think forget that all those actors were under contract for more than just one movie. I mean, even Ron Howard himself says, yeah, there's scripts out there. There were plans, but now that it kind of lost a little money or didn't make $1 billion, they're like, fuck this shit. We're getting rid of the standalones, rebooting, bringing in Feige. It's going to be the MCU before you know it. I hope so. Who knows?
Yeah.
But after 2019, dude, we got a 3-year wait until the next fucking movie, and that bums me out. Hopefully it has all you people, the Fandom Menace, as you call yourselves. I guess you're happy with that. I don't know. I prefer Star Wars content as much as we can
Yeah.
get it.
I mean, I'm certainly not happy about that by any means. If we could have 2 a year, that'd be great. But I mean, we will still have consistent episodes.
Oh yeah. The Disney
in.
Plus, the arrival of that this November 12th, that's going to be huge to fill the gaps because we're going to get the Mando this year, Clone Wars early on in 2020. I think Cassian will be fall 2020, and then I'm expecting Kenobi to be either spring 2021 or they may save that for fall 2021. But I agree. But it's been fun these past 4 years at this point to know we've got at least a Star Wars movie to look forward to every year, and that's gone December 20. It's over.
Yeah.
We got to wait 3 years. We're going back to limbo. Before George sold, we didn't know if he was ever going to do anything again. But
Right, and like for so long, we didn't know we were getting new Star Wars movies at all. So I mean,
exactly. That's why
I'm okay with waiting a little bit. As much as I would want more, but I think we're still a little lucky to have what we have.
Well, yeah, like I said, you're a much more healthy individual than myself. I am the epitome of a Star Wars freak. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, you are.
Don't start websites about Star Wars and podcasts about Star Wars unless you're a nut. So it is what it is. All right, excuse me.
It is what it is.
How about this? We're still working through a Star Wars bio, my friends, but we're having good dialogue. This is what we do. How about a standout moment from the franchise? Scene, moment, dialogue, whatever.
Right.
I didn't want to give these to you early so you could prepare. I want like a dynamic answer here.
I have a few, and there's I don't want to keep resorting back to the Phantom Menace. I really don't.
Who cares, man? If you like it, you like it. Who cares?
Like that moment where they're in the Naboo hangar, and those elevator doors open or whatever, and you see Darth Maul, and you hear the dun dun.
Oh yeah.
Dun, dun,
The Duel of
dun.
Fates kicks in.
Right, takes his hood off, and you see that double-wielded lightsaber or double-sided lightsaber ignited. And you're anytime you watch that, your heart beats a little bit faster.
It's awesome.
When that happens.
It's still the best lightsaber duel in the franchise.
Yeah, and actually, this might just be because The Last Jedi is fresh in my mind because I watched it again recently. But there hasn't been a lot of oh shit moments as big as when Kylo just whips that lightsaber around and cuts Snoke in half. There haven't been a lot of moments in Star Wars where I've been so completely shocked.
Right.
In that moment.
I agree. That's why I hate myself for fucking reading the Jedi Paxis leaks for Tross.
Oh no! See, yeah, I'm pretty.
Dude, such an asswipe. I mean, I didn't spoil TFA, so obviously when you find out that Kylo's a Solo, that was huge for me. Just Kylo killing his dad was huge. I mean, I didn't know any of that. Same with TLJ, like you said. I mean, the throne room betrayal was huge. You didn't know that was coming. And now I do believe what I've read in this Jedi Paxis shit. Spots of it are spot on. I mean, just I can already see it with some of the official shit coming out for Triple Force Friday. I mean, today they rolled out the first picture of Babu Frick, and I'm like, oh, yep, well, that
I saw that today.
That kind of lines up with what Homeboy's saying, so I pretty much fucked this movie for myself. It sounds like a great movie, but it's definitely, I'm not going to have the moment Jared's talking about. And I live for that shit, especially with Star Wars, any type of sci-fi stuff. I love for that, oh, fuck,
Yeah.
that type of stuff. And now I'm pretty sure I've robbed myself of that, so.
Hey, you never know. There could still be a couple things that show up.
I'm sure. I mean, I know I've said, oh, none of the movies leaked before they came out. And people are like, hey, fuck you. The whole script for TFA came out like 2 days before. Like, okay, well, 2 days before. We're still
Right,
talking.
I remember
that.
that.
I mean, Jedi Paxis has been weeks, months before it. But
Right.
there's some stuff in there that's definitely being paid off on in released material at this point. So, fuck.
Yeah, and every single episode of Star Wars Time Show I listen to when it comes out. But the one that came out that you guys did a couple weeks ago about the leaks, I
Oh, yeah.
didn't even
That's
open
fine.
that
I
one.
mean,
I was
that's why
like,
we
gonna
put
have
up
to
the
wait till next week,
warnings.
guys.
Crazy thing is, it's our most viewed episode on YouTube yet.
Really?
I mean, it's what people want to click on. I mean, I understand how the clickbait game works. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not hard to figure out. It's just there is a section of fans that just live and die for leaks and spec. I love speculating. I don't so much like leak reading. But again, when you're Star Wars time and people are asking if you're going to talk about it, you kind of feel a little obligated. So I caved to the fandom. But hey,
Yeah.
I'm here to serve.
It's tough. It's not easy to, I mean, I want to give in and see those leaks. I want to
of
know
course.
right now.
Yeah, it's a
But-
constant dialogue in my head. Like, do it, don't do it, do it, do it.
Do it.
You know, I got my own little Palpatine in there. Do it. And
A
I
little
did. But,
skeevy
hey,
sheev,
whatever.
as I call him.
Yeah, my man Sheev. All right, so moving on. How about, you've been pretty high on Star Wars prequels. You like the Snoke moment. Do any of the films, animated series, do any of them just not sit well with you? I mean, is there a movie where you're just like, it's Star Wars, I still liked it, but it wasn't the best? Or, I liked the Clone Wars, but I hated Rebels, or I hate Resistance because Disney is doing it, stuff like that. Any of that?
I think there's some things that have taken a little bit longer to grow on me as more than others, but there's definitely a few moments in a couple movies where I watch and I still cringe a little bit. Like I think more in Revenge of the Sith. Like there's that one scene where Obi-Wan is telling Padme that Anakin's been killing younglings, and it's just they're both incredible actors, but that one
dude.
scene every time I watch it, I'm like, oh no.
I got another one from that movie starring Mr. Ewan McGregor, too. It's when they get trapped in the ray shield, and he's like, oh, how could this happen?
We're smarter
Jedi.
than this.
We're smarter than this. It's
Right.
like, come on, George Lucas. What the fuck were you writing for these people, man? Like,
Yeah.
what?
There's definitely a couple moments, and I just try to just like, you know what? Just forget about that. Just forget about it.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like, your body almost, we have this natural douche chill reaction to other people in life where you almost prepare for it and you feel bad for them, but it makes you feel bad.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. All right, so I mean, we got a little bit of Jared's Star Wars background. Started young, like most of us, and has continued into adulthood. So let's kind of transition, man. Did your fandom for Star Wars? I'm assuming you might have collected stuff when you're young, but did your Star Wars fandom lead into the toy photography stuff, or is that just something you're like, hey, fuck it, this looks like fun?
Well, actually, the earliest of if you were to scroll back into the dark times of my Instagram, the earliest of my toy photography was not Star Wars. It was more just like Power Rangers and stuff like that. That was when I was real big into collecting. Once I had money as an adult, when I started to buy figures. It was more like the Power Rangers, stuff like that. And then I had a couple old Stormtroopers from way back, and I was taking pictures of these guys too, and I was like, I need some legit figures of these. And that was when, after the first 3 or so Black Series waves have been out, and so I got one of the clones And then ever since then, like, that was it. That was all I ever wanted. So it's just
So
like,
was it? I mean, were you a collector first? And I guess what was the impetus to you to take one outside? And I don't know if you used your phone at first or if you always had a DSLR or whatever. I mean, how did we get here? How
oh,
did we get
gotcha.
to Jared taking his Power Rangers outside and snapping some shots?
Yeah, well, it all started with Instagram. So like, I was a collector before any type of photographer, and I still even it's weird to call myself a photographer, but yeah, like I would just get a new toy and be like, this is sick, and I would post on Instagram like, check out this sick new Red Ranger, and then every time I would post something new, I try to make them look cooler. And as I was posting it, I see this community of people who are, literally that's all they do is just take pictures of these toys.
Yeah, buddy.
And I'm like, this is so cool. Like, how could I
Which one
ever?
sucked you in first? Was it Toy Pops?
I honestly, at that point, I don't even remember. And then, like, once I actually was like, okay, I'm gonna actually go outside and actually take photos of the toys just to make them look cool and then post it. And then afterwards, then it started getting into like, that's all I ever wanted to do, just to photograph them. And I used my phone. But like, I think probably my biggest initial inspiration was SGT Bananas. That guy just like, I saw like the explosions and stuff that he did back with like when he did a bunch of more, because the style's a little different now. But he
Well,
posts.
yeah,
He used to,
he's definitely toned down now. He's more just atmosphere shots. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
Sergeant Bananas, I think, he's the godfather, I would say, of dynamic toy photography. Like practical effects and stuff. And if you're
he
just
really
listening,
is.
to casual Star Wars fan, I mean, Jared is known for his practical effects, and we'll get into that. But yeah, I mean, Bananas definitely was someone that I caught on early too. I mean, I think I started doing the toy stuff in 16. I started with Funko Pops, which I can't even
Right.
stand anymore. I think like 700 of them though. Same as you.
We
Just
all had a
like the way
phase,
they
I think,
look.
with us.
Yeah, I do like the chibi aesthetic. I mean, that I like the bobblehead and stuff. Not as much as I now like the higher end Hot Toys and Black
Right.
Series and figure arts and shit. But I did have an obsession with that. But the same thing. I mean, I'd roll out there with my iPhone, invert the camera, take a shot, and make them look big with their big heads. And then it's very similar to you. You're like, oh shit, there's other assholes doing this. Cool. It's like, oh, there's hashtags, so I can get a bunch of likes, and
Right,
I can
right.
see other techniques. And oh my god, I'm terrible. Holy shit, why do I even do this? I better get a real camera. And then
Dude.
before you know it, you're a couple $1,000s in with a DSLR, lighting shit on fire, and here we go, right? So
Right. Yeah. Honestly, that's it, and that's probably the case with almost every person. It's so easy to get sucked in. Like you just find it on there, and you see some of these pictures, and you're like, wow, that's so fucking cool. Like, how
It
could I
is
ever
fun
do
to
that?
see everyone's first shot. I mean, even Banana's first shot, he's posted a few times. It's literally like a monkey riding a skateboard, and it looks fairly basic. It's probably about what I'm putting out these days.
I was gonna say it's probably amazing.
Yeah, I mean, my skills have just been kind of middling around in la average land for a while. Plus,
No,
I
dude,
post process like an asswipe.
You're 10 times more hard on yourself than you should
Well,
be.
yeah, I mean, we all are, but trust me, Instagram has given me a complex. I mean, there's sometimes I'm like, man, I think this is a great one. I think people like it, and then it gets like 100 likes, even during a Toy Pops where people are supposed to like, and we all know they don't. It's like, okay, well, Instagram definitely hid that one from pretty much all of my followers, so I guess I'll go fucking shoot
Yeah,
myself.
Instagram's just kind of a dick, and like, it's kind of funny how like just toy photography in general has grown so much. I don't know if it's just the
Yes.
way I used to do things, but some photos that I think were like really cool back then would get like nothing, under like 50 likes, and then I see like people who are just starting out and their photos are great and they're getting like all these likes. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Like it took me
I
years
know,
to
dude.
get over
I
that
know.
many likes. So it's just like it's really cool to see like how much it's grown.
Oh, I'm
since
with you,
then.
and I know a lot. Sometimes I may sound like a hater. I'm not hating. I'm just lamenting the fact that I'm not getting that fucking bump from Instagram, because there are times I'm not shitting you. They're nice shots. They're clean. They're crispy, if you want to call them that. But they're like just a figure fucking standing there, like a fig stand there. Some atmosphere behind it. We're like, here we go, 600, 700, 800 likes. I'll sit there and kill myself with fireworks or something crazy trying to be like SirDork, and gets 200 likes. It's like, okay, well,
No,
I guess I don't know. I guess I don't know what looks good.
There have been countless times where I've been scrolling and I'll be like, oh, whoa, that is sick. Oh, dude, Matt, that was so good. And I'll just instantly go comment like, oh, dude.
Well, thank you, because that
so good.
helps.
Like
that helps
that one,
IG kind of show it to more people. But as Nick has explained, because he kind of does this shit for a living with social media. I mean, that's his thing, is social media advertising and how the algorithms work and all that. But he pretty much said, if you drop a shot on Instagram and organically it doesn't get traction within like the first 30 minutes to an hour in terms of people liking or commenting, it's done. Like it will get hidden from most of your followers. They won't even see it. See, I do miss the old days, but that's neither here nor there. We're here to talk about SirDork, not my shitty ass problems on Instagram. So, all right, man, favorite line to shoot at this point in time. I think we know what your go-to is. I think you've kind of moved on from the Power Rangers. I mean, you're pretty much a Star Wars guy at this point, right?
Yeah, it's probably 95% Star Wars, and honestly, I don't have a whole lot of other Star Wars figures that aren't Black Series figures. I've got a few Figuarts or maybe some other Tamashii products, but mostly Black Series stuff. It's good stuff and it's available and it's cheap.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that just because it's around? It's usually $20, or you don't want to go down the Hot Toys rabbit hole like I did a year ago, and now it's costing me about $4,000.
Well, I mean, it might just be because I enjoy the 1/12 scale, right. But there's a lot of things about getting like Black Series that is just really fun, because there's something that you can find easy, and you can kind of like go into the store and be like, oh shit, here it is. Yes, they have it, and like there's a certain amount of joy. Feelings. Yeah, there's such a special moment that is when you find it, and they're still within a good price range. There's so many things about it that just make it convenient and exciting, and they also there's so many more Black Series figures there's so many more characters made into Black Series figures than there are like Figuarts or any of the other brands that are making decent style Star Wars.
Especially with the Hasbro's new digital face paint, it really is getting hard to be like, oh no, I need the figure arts Ray too. I mean, honestly, the Hasbro Ray right now for Tross looks
absolutely incredible.
Tross Figure Arts, and really Tross Figure Arts got those wonky elbow joints. She got that shitty rubber hood. I mean, I don't think the Hasbro has soft goods, right? I mean, you've gotten to touch it. Did they give you any, or did they just let you play with them?
It started out as just letting us play with them, and then we kind of threw out a few ideas of why we should keep them, and after a few months, they let us take a couple home, which is pretty sweet.
Good. All right. Well, again, we'll get into that. I'm just throwing little teases here and there for the awesome thing that Jared got to do a week ago. So, all right. So Star Wars. I guess let's get into this. I think you've already mentioned one, but what are some of your influences with this hobby? I mean, a lot of ideas yourself, or are you looking at people like Bananas or other big accounts out there, and you kind of like, I want to be like them when I grow up as a toy photographer?
Yeah, there's honestly there's so many, and like probably the first one that I can remember is definitely Sergeant Bananas. Like he definitely got me going, and like he kind of showed me like what it could be, and it's like, wow, how do you even do that? Like how do you get the cool fire and stuff? And then later on, like there's just a lot of the people aren't really doing it so much anymore. Like there's one guy, Toy Bills, who's mostly like kind of a collector account. Yeah. Just like a lot of, I'm sure you probably know him. And he did a little bit of toy photography here and there, and I would see that and I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And then actually, not even just saying this, Jesse, Everything Kylo, like for a long time, I followed him, and I was
his brother Goat, my friends. He's bringing up the other goat, the other SWT goat. If you don't know, this is one of the goats, by the way. If you've been listening to a goat right now.
No, he's amazing, and for so long, I followed him, and then like one time he sent me a message, and I was like, oh my god, he sent me a message. Whoa,
Yeah,
Because
everything
he's
Kylo
amazing.
Jesse he's Action Jackson, man. I mean, he gets some of the best action poses out there, and his. I love that
Really
he
does.
finally showed that. I mean, the motherfucker for the most part's using a straw to blow up the
I
dust.
know. Yeah, he's amazing.
He's
Yeah.
like, fuck buying canned air. I'm just gonna use a straw. I love that shit. I love seeing new tips and tricks. That's some of my favorite part of the community now, is when people include some BTS. I try to, but at half the time I fucking forget to do it, because you know how it is. I mean, sometimes when you're out on the shoot, you're just so consumed with. I've got, at least me, being a dad and whatnot, not wanting to burn my whole weekends outside with my camera, but I got a set amount of time. I got this box of figs, got some props, some shit to blow up. I've got no real plans. I'm just gonna set stuff up and see where it goes. You know
Right.
what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
No,
but
I know
yeah,
the feeling.
I loved seeing Jesse blow the fucking straw for that Hulk and Wolverine shot. So,
Yeah.
no, he's a good guy. He's a
Yeah,
good
he's
guy.
he's made yeah, he really is, and like really has been a huge inspiration for me for a while, and it's even an honor to be put in the same category as him, with the whole goat thing, which I still don't really
Oh, yeah.
understand where the goat thing came from, but I
Well,
fully
here
embraced it, and I love the goat.
I try to explain it. I mean, you guys are Star Wars time goats because to Nick and I, you've put your best foot forward in promoting us and helping us. You guys are, typically every week you'll throw up in your story, oh, new episode's up, I'm listening, or this, that, or the other thing. I mean, you guys have kind of keyed into us as we started. You got behind it. So, hey, we're not afraid to admit that we're going to pump up our most art of supporters. That's what we do here, right?
Yeah,
It's
I'm
give and
a
take.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Yeah,
What
so
can I
there
say?
we go. I mean, that's why you're a goat. You've shown us with Jesse the most love, so that's why you're goats. The goat level fans is what we're called. But you guys you're goat level toy photographers too, so it's kind of a dual meaning. All right, speaking of your photography, what type of gear you use? What's your gun? What's your camera?
So when it comes to cameras and things like that, like
And how have you not fucking blown up your lens yet?
I think it's actually getting to the point where it's starting to show a little bit of wear and tear. But I have it's a Canon EOS Rebel T6,
All right.
and
And
it's
do you is it just a kit lens, or do you have different lenses you use?
I just use the kit lens right now. My biggest thing I want, like on my wish list, is to get like a macro lens, but that one works great, and like a lot of people tell me like, wow, it's really cool to see you take cool pictures with such like inexpensive equipment, and I'm like, honestly, I don't really know much about cameras, but sweet, thanks.
That's
I'm
the
glad.
point I was gonna make. I mean, I'm not here to like shit on your gear and like, oh, I have a Canon 80D, I'm way better. And Jared's right. It usually is not the gear.
Right.
Can the
It's
gear
not.
make certain things a bit easier? Of course. But when it comes down to photography and what makes a good picture, it's really all about the person holding the camera and what their eye can do with that camera. The camera is just a machine. It's there to snap the pic. Jared still has to get behind it, envision the scene, line it up, light his blowtorch, and hit the shutter button, right? So it's not like people like Sergeant Bananas or Work More or Less or so on and so forth have produced their quality shots because they have high-end full-frame cameras. They may not even have full frames. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, I got my Canon 80D, I think 3 years ago, and I don't ever see a need to get anything else until it blows up.
Honestly,
I mean,
yeah, same here.
As Jared said, the lenses can change, and it's really just for us, at least in my opinion, the lenses give us different abilities, like how far we can get away from our subjects, how close we can get, how we can take these little 6-inch guys and make them look like real people type of shit. And dude, you got to get that Canon 100. My wife got it for me this past Christmas. I have not taken it off my camera since. I don't know if I'll ever take it off again outside if I'm doing human photography, because obviously the macro doesn't suit
Right.
itself well for larger landscape type of scenes. But dude, it is money. I mean, I think it's like an $800 lens, but it's well worth it.
I'm pretty sure that's the same one I have on my Amazon wish list right now.
Yep, you want it. That's the one you want, and just look there, because sometimes those Amazon people that sell through Amazon, they'll do ridiculous bundles for these lenses where you essentially pay for the lens and then they give you memory cards, tripods,
Yeah,
cases,
yeah.
this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's been some crazy deals where the price of the lens is the same amount as the price of the
Yep.
lens with like 15 other just like completely random things that come with it. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is well worth your time, and I know you'll do some magic with it. I do caution, get yourself a fucking lens hood if you get it, because
Yeah, that's
the way
the
you
plan
position
too.
your camera sometimes in your videos scares me.
Yeah,
It's like,
the thing's taken some abuse, and I owe it a lot. It doesn't owe
like,
me
dude,
anything, but I owe it a lot.
how have you not burnt the glass on your lens yet? I mean, I've just even mistakenly got a coal into mine, and there was a pock mark. Luckily, it wiped off. But I mean, people, you've got to go check out Jared's YouTube channel. Is it just slash SirDork730?
Yeah, everything's just SirDork
Yeah,
730.
so
Yeah,
youtube.com/SirDork730. If you're looking to get into the toy photography stuff, Jared has taken his time to make great informative videos to show you all his tips and tricks, his behind the scenes. But you can see that, I mean, the guy's nuts. I've talked about his blowtorch many times. It's one of my favorite bits of gear that this dude
you do all
tries.
the time, and it makes me laugh every time.
It's so awesome that you're just like, you know what? Fuck lighters. Fuck windproof lighters. Screw electronic lighters. I am bringing a blowtorch just in case I need to weld something while I'm out shooting my toys.
Well, there's nothing more frustrating to me when I have everything set up perfect.
Yeah.
And then I'm ready to light the thing up, and I'm just like,
And then a
over
figure
and over.
falls or something.
And the figure falls or something happens, and it's just like, it's horrible. So it's like, you know what? If I get this $45 thing at Lowe's to just, I'm never gonna have that issue
fantastic.
ever again.
It's fantastic.
And yeah, I don't ever have the issue anymore. It's pretty nice.
He is a pyro at heart, my friends. But yeah, you gotta check out some of these videos because he gets up close and personal with his firework shots. We'll leave it at that.
And I appreciate that, man. But yeah, you can watch me abuse my poor camera in action figures.
So in terms of your shooting preferences, I mean, are you more of an outdoor guy? Have you ever done indoor photography?
I definitely love outdoor, and I try to do indoor actually every once in a while, for sure. But I'm so reliant on the sun, and like for so long I didn't really know how to really get good lighting, and just
lighting's a bitch.
It really is, and I didn't really understand it for so long until now. I mean, I probably still don't really fully understand it, but yeah, just like I really need that sun, and like I feel so dependent on it. And then when I go inside, I'm like, wow, this looks like shit. What am I even doing?
Yeah, I'm with you. I started outdoor, and it really was. It's just like, when can I get the best sun? You know, you have your golden hours. You have your hours you probably shouldn't fuck with it because it's going to be so damn bright. And then, you know, I got indoors just based on some tips from people like Work More or Less with the Digirama stuff, looking at some of the stuff Plastic Action's gotten into, Nose Rain.
Those guys are
they're insane.
Absolutely phenomenal. They're just
fucking insane.
I don't know how they fit so much talent into their bodies.
All of them should be making money for the hobby. I'm glad they've at least at this point in time have become influencers of sort for certain brands because they at least deserve that.
They deserve that and more. Seriously,
yeah, it is. I mean, I've come to like indoor shooting because you have complete control over lighting, and if you just understand basically the basics of the 3 lighting system, where you got your fill, your key, and sometimes your like an overhead light. You can figure stuff out, but you sure shit can't bring your blowtorch and light off fireworks indoors. So
that's the biggest thing. Like I think I've just become obsessed with the flashiness. I just like I want every photo I take to have something ridiculous going on in it.
Oh, you have to now. I mean, that's your MO. That is your brand. I mean, your shots are always like, oh, you know, like fucking coming at you like that.
I feel like if I don't have that, it's just gonna be like a really basic, boring shot.
Yeah, like oh man,
what
happened to SirDork? He must be like depressed or something, or he's getting all sensitive on us. He's not blowing something up.
Exactly right. So yeah, that's just. I like the outdoor. I like the flashy stuff, and that the outdoor allows me to do the flashy stuff, even though I've been yelled at plenty of times being too loud or.
Yeah. Okay. So when you go outdoor, I mean, I don't know, like, do you have a place around your house, your apartment that you usually shoot at? I believe you put up something recently, like, oh, this is one of my favorite places to shoot. It looks like a rundown barn or warehouse or something. I guess you have to travel a lot on your shoots, or are you close enough that you walk, ride a bike?
Well, I have just a ton of different places. Like a lot of times, I'll just get like this sudden inspiration. I'll just go right in the parking lot of my apartment building, which sometimes is problematic because there's like hundreds of people right in the building.
I could see them. Hey, yo!
Yeah, I've gotten that plenty of times. But actually, recently I went to this one place and I was using some fireworks, taking pictures of my patrol trooper, and there's like this bridge kind of going overhead, and this old guy's just waiting for the fireworks to go off so he could yell at me. And then after I put it out, he goes, "You stop that! I didn't come here, or I came here for some peace and quiet, not to listen to that crap." And I was like, "Sorry, sir."
Yeah, you're like, hey, you know what? Go fuck yourself. I came here to light stuff on fire.
Right, I was like, I was here
shut
first.
Up.
Go away.
Yeah. Right,
I'm
like,
not
it's not
anything,
like you don't own this place, dude, so blow me.
Right, I mean, it's a problem that I could have anywhere I go.
That's it. That's the one kind of sometimes fun but annoying thing of shooting in public, especially if you're not in your own territory, are the onlookers who,
yeah,
I mean, they're curious by nature because they're like, why the fuck is this grown dude laying on the ground setting up figures and with a camera and stuff? Like, what's going on here?
I've gotten all of that.
Yeah, should we call the cops, or should we watch this? Is he doing something cool? For the most part, people are just genuinely interested. They're like, whoa, that's crazy.
I definitely get more positive kind of
right.
just curiosity, and then I still get the people yelling at me. Or
the worst reaction I've had, it was in Hilton Head on the beach. I was close up to some dunes, and like these drunk asshole, like 20-somethings, probably right out of high school. They clearly this was like their senior fucking hoorah or whatever. So this bozo acts all hard. He comes at me with a golf club.
No.
He's like, "What do you do? You take pictures of us? Take pictures of us? I'll fuck you up." And me, you don't do that to me. I'm a little guy, but I'm psycho, right? And I will defend myself as most little guys do. So when he starts doing this, I'm like, all right, I'll test this guy's bluff. So I stood right up and started walking right at him. I'm like, all right, fucking, let's go. Hit me. Let's fucking go. And Jesus. Of course, he just, as he's still barking, walking backwards, like, oh, blah, blah, blah. You better not be taking pictures. I'm like, do you really think I'm taking pictures of you? Honestly, do you see this dumb shit I'm doing right here? Do you see these little toys? These are the pictures I'm taking. But Jared's right. I mean, anyway, if you've done this stuff out in public, you never know how people are going to react. So
yeah, and it is definitely tough.
To have a blowtorch in your kit.
That's true. It's my self-defense and it's my firework.
I don't know. There's one guy out there at Boba Pat. I think he brings a piece on his shoots. I don't know if you need to do that, but
well, I mean, you can never be too safe, I suppose.
You never know. I think he goes out in like the deserts of Nevada, because I think he lives in Las Vegas or something.
That's cool.
So who knows? Maybe there's some pirates out there.
That's awesome.
Things can get crazy with toy photography. It's not this big, serene, peaceful hobby that you think it is. All right, man. So before we kind of move into, I had Jared pick some of his shots, essentially his first ever Star Wars toy shot, a shot where he felt like his skills were improving, and then a recent shot. But real quick before we get there, do you have any just common sense or go-to tips that you could give to some of the listeners here?
The thing I say every time is just always keep trying new things and going out of your comfort zone. And just like the first time will probably suck, but the next time will suck less, and then the next time will suck less, and then
there you go.
Eventually you'll be good at it. Like
it's no joke, my friends.
Trial and error.
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah,
as the saying goes.
So the truth. I mean, every time I do it, I just like 90% of the time the photo comes out like shit, and then I try it again, and it looks a little better.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly. I mean, we've all have grown. I mean, if I would pull up one of my old shots for you, it'd be like, ha, you fucking loser. But yeah, I mean, we've all grown, but it's just staying committed to it. I wouldn't say I do it as much as I used to. I had a kid in 2016 that kind of sucked some of my fuck off time out of my life, but it's just keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Yeah,
Maybe
trial
you'll
and
go
error.
viral on Facebook. I still need to try SirDork's light painting technique. That's one video I go back to because that's a concept I've wanted to try because I love the science behind light painting and how the shutter speed works and
It's a
how
ton
the
of
light's
fun.
captured, all that. So
Yeah.
you definitely gave me some ideas for that, and I even went out and bought a little powered cable cord of Christmas lights for it. So see,
Whoa, cool!
people,
I cannot wait. That's so awesome.
I am not fucking around. He listens to our stuff. I watch and listen to his stuff. That's how it goes. Plus,
that's
his shit's
awesome.
actually informative, where my stuff is just useless.
I'm so glad you think so.
Just Star Wars talk, man. I mean, Jared will give you actual life tips. I'm just giving you fake stuff to think about.
I mean, that's subjective for sure, to say the least.
Yeah, right.
But,
Of course.
no, I'm so glad you think so. I feel like so many like actual experts watch those videos and they're like, this fucking guy has no idea what he's talking about. Like,
no, but that's what I want. I don't want some fucking pro that's like, it's like all professionally done. I like some dude sitting in his room, sometimes wearing a Star Wars time hat, tell me how it is, and then goes out in the field and shows it to me. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all we need. So I mean, he
that's
does
so
good
cool.
good videos, is what I'm trying to say.
well, thank you, man. And
All
if there's anybody listening that has watched any of them and you ever like tag me in a photo that you take like after you've watched my video, that literally is like the most rewarding thing in the world. It makes me feel so good and I'm so proud.
I hear you, man. I mean, we say it all the time. There's nothing better than getting DMs on IG from people who have listened to the show and have said something. I mean, we just got one today. I'm not going to reveal his name. I don't know if he wants it out there, but he's a service member, and he's like, dude, I just got back from a tour. I can't thank you guys enough for doing, weekly content, Star Wars content. And I was like, fuck, man, that is awesome. That's why Nick and I do what we do. We make no money. We lose money on this shit. I lose life on this stuff. I mean, we've been going a year. We still haven't really broke that big. I mean, over the summer, we're getting close to 650, 700 downloads a month, but that ain't shit. That ain't shit in real world podcast terms. So it's just that type of feedback and, stuff that Jared does
things.
or Jesse does. I mean, it is. It really is the little things. And speaking of little things, let's take a look, and I'll have these up in the YouTube version of the cast and linked in the post on StarWarsTime.net if you want to check around. But like I said, I had Jared send over 3 shots of one of his first ever Star Wars shots, one where he felt like his skills were improving, and then a recent one. So we're looking at his first one here. It's from June 8th, 2015. So he's been at it for a while. And like you said, I mean, grinding. Then one day he woke up in December 2018, and here he is with thousands and thousands of followers. I mean, dude, I still, there's a little jealousy in me. I'm not going to lie. I'm human. I would love for that to happen to me one day. I can't even imagine what that felt like going from just SirDork to SirDork on blast. It's got to feel good. It's got to be a little overwhelming, I'm sure.
It was all of that for sure.
But, I mean, it's something I think most of us are looking to achieve one day, so I'm glad it happened to one of us. But we're looking at a shot here, June 8, 2015, and are these even real figures?
Yeah, so those are just...
Are they 3 3/4 inch, or they look like... I'm not shitting on your photography. The figures look
okay,
like... They look like they're like bootleg, something you buy at like Odd Lots or something.
They're 90s... just
So
old
Power
90s
of the Force,
figs.
like orange or greenbacks?
Honestly, I don't even remember. They're ones I've had in a bin since I was a kid. I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah, now they have to be the Power of the Force line, that, like you said, from the early 90s. I think it was still Kenner was putting these out. Yeah, I mean, just looking at the shot, look how much better figures have gotten since then. I mean, mine, when I was a little kid, they were, I don't even know why anyone bought that shit. I mean, they were the most basic-ass figures you could get. They only bent at the fucking hips, and then their arms would bend at the shoulders. That's it.
Yeah, and the way they stand up is if you have, like, one leg forward a little bit, one leg back, because it's the way their feet are angled. And it's really difficult, like, to do anything with them.
Yeah, but look, even in this shot though, you had rule of thirds in place. I mean, I can tell you're hitting these guys on the crosshairs. You were doing a little forced perspective, right? I mean, you got the one troopers in the front of the frame, but your focus is on the guy in the back.
Right.
You
See,
somehow
that was not on
got
purpose.
you somehow got the sand trooper to look like he's walking. I mean, even though there's almost zero articulation in these guys.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's. I was really happy to find that because I was just like, oh my gosh.
It probably makes you feel a little itchy now to look at it, and that's why this is fun. I mean, it's crazy to see where you've come from this, but I think a lot of us would have the same experience.
Yeah, yeah, and if you look at what the trooper's holding,
Yeah, it's a Darth Maul prop.
It's the Darth Maul Black Series thing. Yeah, you got it. You know
Hell yeah,
exactly
dude.
what it is.
I love it, and you can tell this was on a phone because you got a little bit of depth of field going in there. I mean, there's a little blurred background. I would be more proud of this than my early pop shots. I mean, my early pop shots, I literally throw a Funko Pop down, turn my phone upside down so make them look a little taller, and that was it. I mean, that was it. At least you tried to stage and use multiple figures here. You got them out in nature. The water. You captured that. These are fun to look at. So thanks for sharing that one.
This shot was the first time I actually put figures in a bag and drove out. To a
got
spot.
you. So this is like, hey man, I am a motherfucking toy photographer.
Yep.
Yeah, he calls them storm poopers.
Storm poopers.
Can't wait to Force Awakens. So yeah, this would have been June
of
2015. So
yeah.
We hadn't even got the new movies yet. So
Very
this is an excellent archive shot here from SirDork. And really, people, those of you that are starting out and you see where Jared's at now, this is why I wanted him to share stuff like this. Because it just like he said, practice makes perfect.
Practice. Right.
So we'll definitely have that in the YouTube version of the cast for you, as well as linked in the StarWarsTime.net version of the cast. All right, up next is a shot from Jared. It comes from April 19, 2017, so this still would have been before he went viral. And yeah, I could see why you would have chose this one for skills improving. So this is almost 2 years after that shot we just talked about. And you can tell you're starting to get your firework game on.
Yeah, I like to think of this shot as kind of like a milestone. This is like the first time I don't think the first time I used fireworks, but the first time I used it, and I was like, wow, this looks cool. I can't wait to post this.
Yeah, I know that feeling because I, too, started with fireworks. I was like, oh, this will be easy. And then I looked at some of the process shots, and it's like, how the fuck do those guys do that and make it look natural and stuff? And it's just not some random explosions.
Right. I know the feeling, yeah. And this was still with my phone, I think. I don't think I had a camera yet at this point.
Oh, boy. I mean, that's even more impressive because, I don't know if you had the burst shot on your phone, but the fact that you...
Yeah, the burst shot.
You burst shot it? Okay. Yeah, you can even see, I mean, the posing's pretty good, and the way the embers are coming here, it does feel like they're kind of getting blown back or blown into it. It even looks like I don't know if you styled them up. No, those are probably just burn marks from fireworks, right? Those little black specks all over the tank or the shore trooper.
Yeah, I think that's just the the debris from whatever firework.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I was using at the time, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, which one is that? Do you remember what firework that is?
It wasn't a crackling ball for sure. It was one of those little 2-inch tall tube-looking fountains.
Got you.
Yeah, I like those.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Jared he'll go to the grocery store and buy a pack of the shitty fireworks and just see what they do. Those are other things you can get on his YouTube channel.
Yeah, you never know what you can find in those things. It's fun.
But I am definitely a crackling ball guy. I live in Ohio, so I can get fireworks fairly easily. So I just rolled out the Phantom fireworks one day. They buy one get 3 free, I think.
What?
I spent $200 and essentially got, do the math. It was almost $600-700 worth of fireworks. I mean, just boxes and boxes and boxes of crackling balls.
That's so amazing.
Yeah, I'm good. I haven't had to go buy any new ones anytime soon. So
crackling balls are my go-to, but it's funny because anytime I go and I buy more, like when I run out, they always seem to be made completely differently than the last time. Sometimes...
yeah, I mean, let's be real, man. I mean, how many regulations do you think China really has with these fireworks shops? I mean, and just the crackling balls themselves, you never know how they're going to react. I mean, I've found, I don't know if you've tried this, sometimes if I want to try to get them to stay where I want them to pop off, because you never really know unless you bury it. But I'll take the bottom off and just leave the charge and the top half on.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Because that way it's not right. It's not bouncing on the ball, so you don't have to worry about it jumping at you. I'm sure you've had crackling balls fly at your face, back into your camera. Because when you light those fuckers, if you don't bury them or pop the bottom off, they're like a Super Ball firework. You have no clue where you're going to go after the charge ignites.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I've had a spark go like in my ear hole before.
Yeah.
That was a wake up call for sure.
Or sometimes you'll look in your shots and there'll be embers melting your figure that you didn't see at the time.
Yeah,
you can definitely get some pretty funky natural weathering when you use fireworks with your figures. I just did some to the hyper real Darth Vader this past weekend. He's got a few pock marks at the bottom of his cape, a little bit of dirt, but hey, he looks rugged now. He's not all shiny.
I can't wait to see that.
He looks like his cape has been dragged across a battlefield or something.
Hell yeah.
But I've also fucked up some figures pretty bad with fireworks too, so.
Same.
Shit happens, here. Right? Shit happens.
Same here.
All right, and then we're at a current shot of Jared's. This one's very recent, September 22nd. It's definitely a good one. And boy, oh boy, can you tell, has this dude started to perfect his hobby here? Because we've got this patrol trooper here. It's great capture, very crispy looking. You've got the trademark SirDork fireworks going on. Plus, Jared's also kind of a water droplet guy. You know, he likes to do the water splash effect, and just good dynamic pose.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I was pretty happy how this one came out.
And I mean, I'm assuming you had the wires out. That's something I still, to this day, suck at, is using wire to pose.
Really? I can't. I feel like without those, I can't do it.
Well, obviously, that's why I don't have any dynamic poses, because I'm just like, fuck it. I'll have you stand there and maybe bend the leg where it almost looks like you're moving.
No.
Will you form a little circle at the base of your wire and then try to get it to support that way by like jamming it into a leg joint, or do you wrap around their feet and try to leverage it that way?
Yeah, I'll wrap around the feet probably more often. Sometimes I make them into a little horseshoe nail and kind of like stick their onto their feet in the ground, which sometimes that works pretty well. Sometimes I'll wrap it around their waist. I think with this figure, I wrapped it around his waist.
Because I've found sometimes if you just try to make the little stand and then have the wire pop up and try to use that as leverage, it just never seems to want to stay for me. I've seen people, I think Jesse uses styrofoam as his base and just fucking stabs wire into it to use it that way.
Smart.
Right. I think Manny Bothans use that as well. And it's just like me. There's just so many little fucking tips and tricks you just sometimes won't even think about. And then when you see it, you're like, man, I am fucking dumb. Like, I am dumb. Some of the shit I've done to like get a shot, and then I see people do something similar and they figured out a way easier, more efficient way. I'm just like, man, I am a caveman when it comes to creative ways to take pictures of toys.
Well, that's the beauty of the community, that's how you learn things. I probably owe more than half of all the things I do to just
100%.
Learning from other people.
100%. I mean, anything I'm doing at this point in time is something I've seen someone else do, and I'm just trying to not necessarily recreate their shot, but recreate some of the techniques, if you will.
Yeah. It's what's awesome about it, and everyone's always so open and willing to share their ideas. It's really awesome.
All right, so I also asked Jared to just kind of pop up 3 shots from artists that inspire him. We won't spend a lot of time on these because we got one more segment here. I don't want to keep them too long. I didn't even know if we go this long, but you just never know when.
No, this has been great. This has been great, man.
Good.
Thanks for having me on, really.
If you got shit to do, or if I'm keeping you too long, just say, hey, man, cough a few times, and I'll take that as a signal to shut the fuck up. But I've been having a blast talking to you. So
yeah, same here, man. Same here.
But he sent me over 3 shots from people that he kind of looks up to. And the first one here is from Sergeant Bananas. We heard Jared talk about him earlier. Definitely an influence on a lot of us. In this shot here, we've got the AT-AT pilots here, and it looks like some snow troopers in the back. And this is a vintage Bananas fireworks shot.
Yeah. like this. I think this around this time, this was like his kind of style. This is when I
Yep.
first kind of started following him probably, and I was like, wow, like how do you even like? This is just like looks like a legit battle scene. How do you even do this?
I hear you.
Yeah, and like just the bokeh is just beautiful.
And he
And
was. I mean, he was one of the originals, if not the original. I mean, he's at 87,000 at this point.
yeah,
He's put out a book.
yep,
I've enjoyed other guys almost getting up to his level. Like I still remember when Richie came on the scene, Nose Rain, and just
yeah,
watching his account go from brand new to now legendary.
for real.
Plastic Action. I mean, he had a decent following when I first started getting keyed into him, but then he just went fucking nuts with his plastic baller stuff. He's been featured on ESPN, you
ESPN.
name it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's amazing. That's really just so cool.
Mac Day, I love all those guys. Another one he shared, hey, look at this. I don't know if he's just doing this to be nice, but he shared a picture of everything Kylo, GOAT, a
I
fellow
did.
SWT GOAT. And yeah, man, I mean, Jesse always, like I said, Action Jackson, he brings the power to his shots. This is a shot of Jakku Ray all decked out in her goggles, steady whacking some First Order troopers with her bow staff.
Yeah, this is an old one of his for sure, and like I feel like if you were to see this one, it'd be like, oh, why that one? Because it's an older one, because that's how we all are for sure. But
Of
this
course.
was around the time where I first kind of started following him, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. How do you get like the dirt to like look like that? Like that looks awesome. Like
Yeah,
this
but
is
now we
so
know
cool.
he's got a green ass straw and he fucking blows it. That's
Yeah,
awesome. I'm
right.
literally gonna try that. I'm not. I think it's a fantastic idea because I mean, canned air, it's expensive. It's somewhat out of control, especially if you want to get very precise directional sprays of particles. I mean, you hit that canned air, you get shit that goes everywhere. I mean, in your own eyes, in your camera lens.
Oh
So seeing
yeah,
Jesse just very daintily blow a straw to direct the particles where he wanted to is just brilliant shit. And
yeah,
that's why SirDork follows him and is sharing a shot here. That's why we love Jesse too, because
yeah.
he's
It is amazing.
he's a creative motherfucker. And then we've got Zay, aka Black Series, BLK SRS, and yeah, I mean
This,
this shot. I remember this one. I'm pretty sure this was a top 5 at some point, or at least made a
yeah, it
feature on
was.
Star Wars Time Show. But it's a shot that Zay did of the Black Series Grievous, and you look at this, and it looks better than Grievous in the movies.
Yeah, the first time I think I was in the movie, like I saw a movie and then like the movie ended. I opened up my phone real quick and this was on the top of my feed and I was like, what the like
It's sick.
how how does somebody make this?
Yeah.
Like it's
The shit he can do in Photoshop and how many layers of shots he'll take to have a shot like this, it's mind-boggling. I mean, I
yeah.
am a Photoshop dolt. I don't even use it. I use Affinity Photo because it's somewhat dumbed down for people like me that just, for some reason, I don't get it. I'm a professor of computer science. I cannot fucking figure out Photoshop to save my life.
The only reason
Layer
I can
this,
use
mask this, empty mask that. Fuck you. You know what I mean? But Black Series, this guy, he can do Photoshop with his eyes closed. I mean, I bet this shot is composed of, I don't know, 10 different layers probably.
right. He did a layer breakdown video for it and I was just like,
Yeah.
wow. Oh my
It's
gosh.
crazy. I mean, he'll shoot like the green light, the blue light, he'll bring in the effects, he'll do the overhead light, the atmospheric aerosol, and then he somehow marries it all together into this type of artwork, which again I'll have on the YouTube version of this episode or linked in the post on StarWarsTime.net. All right, man, thanks for sharing those. And that brings us to
Yeah.
the big news, the thing I wanted to get into, get some insights, and that's the fact that this guy, my friends, Jared Middleton, got invited to go out to London for the Triple Force Friday live stream. Not just to sit in the audience, not just to be a fan there, but to, I'm assuming, it looked like he got to check out some Pinewood Studios. He was on the motherfucking stage with another great toy photographer, Rebel Jawa, a.k.a. Dan Sparks. But if you watch this, if you're in the community, I know you saw it because we put out a post just to say, hey, look who was there, and as well as some of Jared's other followers. But Jared and Dan were literally on the stage at the end and got a fucking segment spotlighting their toy photography hobby and their
Yeah.
love of Star Wars. So, dude, how does this go down?
It's literally just, I still can't believe that it's happened. But so it's probably in June or so. I got an email from this person saying, "Hey, I work for the Walt Disney Company, and we have a very special campaign coming up for the biggest movie of Star Wars universe, blah blah blah, The Rise of Skywalker, and we need someone to take a photo with the 5-inch black series." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "This is clearly fake."
Yeah.
So like, I didn't even believe it at first, and then like I read it over a couple times, and I was like, I don't know, maybe it's not fake. They're not like asking me for money. So I responded, and eventually like it turned into, yeah, we want you to come to London in July and help us film this like commercial / campaign thing about Star Wars fans, and want you to take some pictures. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, fucking sign me up. All right, I'll pay for myself to get out there. I mean, I'll swim over there probably, right?
Yeah, and they said, yep, nope, it's all, we're obviously going to pay for everything. And I was like, oh, okay. So, and like, next thing I knew it, like, I had my bags packed, and I went to...
Crazy.
Yeah, I went to London, and it was like the mid-July or so, and I met Dan there.
So, I mean,
Rebel
I guess
Jawa.
did the same thing happen to Rebel Jawa?
Yeah.
Like you just got a random email? I mean, it's not like you guys knew somebody that knew somebody.
Yeah, we just both got just super lucky, really. Like,
crazy. I mean, did they say it was because you were using certain tags, or someone just caught it, the right person saw it? I mean, did they even give you that type of insights?
Well, they have people that do this, that just do the searches and look for people. And I guess at first they wanted, like, they had a couple photographers that like already worked for Disney to do this, and then they were like, no, let's just grab somebody like from the community. And one of them went onto Instagram because they knew that the community existed, and they literally handpicked us. Just luck. I just got so lucky.
I mean, that man, is the Force with these guys or what, my friends? I mean,
Yeah.
Talk about it. I guess you kind of have to use luck. I mean, I hate using that term because I don't really just believe in pure luck. Obviously, you two have put time into your craft. It's not like I doubt whoever hunted you down just closed their eyes and scrolled through like a Toy Pop session and stopped in one and said, "Hey, fuck it, yeah, that looks good. We'll go with that person."
I mean, it could have been. Who knows? But
I mean, it not really, because if you think about it, I mean, even if you just look at your follower base compared to what Dan's was before you guys got blasted on Star Wars, I mean, there's, I guess you could see why they may want someone like you with a very high follower count. I mean, let's be real. In the end, it's all about promotion when we really break this stuff down.
Right, it's a business.
So if Jared's sharing Hasbro products, Star Wars stuff, it's going to get in front of thousands of people. I mean, Dan had a great following too. I'm not implying that. I think he was well over 5,000, 6,000 or whatever.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's one question I have is like, how did this go down? Was it
just
a contest or just pure luck? Because me too. I mean, unfortunately, it wasn't for something like this. Unfortunately is the wrong word. It was still a big honor. But I mean, I got an email from Litsky PR, who reps Hasbro, and that's when they're like, hey, take some shots of Luke Skywalker, use these hashtags, submit them, and we may pick a few to roll out at Star Wars Celebration 2019.
Right, and you were on there.
And they did it at SDCC too. I mean, so that was awesome in and of itself. But
that's so cool.
I would trade that for what you guys got to do in a fucking heartbeat. Because that, man, as a lifelong Star Wars fan, I can't even imagine what that experience was like. Getting flown out on their dime twice, I'm assuming, because they had to bring you back out for the stream, right?
Yeah, twice. So for the first time we went over, we didn't know anything about the stream. The live stream was something we didn't really learn about until right beforehand. Like, everything's very last minute. So we basically had to drop everything, fly out there. We went, and we kind of just, once everything started to happen, they gave us these 3 figures. They gave us the Sith Trooper, the Rey, and the Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. And so at the time, nobody has seen these. Like this is still July,
Oh yeah.
and Dan and I are just freaking out and just like, oh my God, wow, like that nobody's seen these before. This is crazy. And we got to take them out and shoot them for a while. And so we did our best. Like I was kind of afraid that my shots weren't going to come out okay because I was, out of my element. I didn't have all my gear with me.
Yeah, I was going to ask. I mean, it looked like you guys, they either, I don't know if Dan brought tools because he lives over there, or if you guys asked, or if they asked you, like, hey, is there anything you need here, like canned air, smoke, atmosphere aerosol? I mean, clearly, I don't think they had any of your fireworks, but it looks like you were able to kick up some particles here and there.
Yeah, I brought my little air gun, and I brought some wire, some lights, and my camera, and that's basically it. I didn't bring the atmosphere aerosol because I wasn't sure how that would work on the plane.
Yeah,
but Dan brought some.
In jail. Got it.
Yeah, so I couldn't have any fireworks, which, damn it. But
I know. I mean, that's kind of your MO. But hey, man, you still had fantastic shots. I mean,
thanks.
And then to get blasted on at Star Wars, how about that?
Yeah, like the second they said that we were gonna put them on there, we were like, oh my God. Like,
fucking shit. Yeah, I mean, I saw I saw Dan's suite, his gallery. And I think it was only up for 3 or 4 hours, and it was almost at 300,000 likes.
Yeah, it blew up, and it's so cool. And his follower count almost doubled, which is amazing. And Dan and I didn't know each other really at all before any of this, and now him and I are new best friends. He's an
I was gonna
amazing
say,
guy.
you guys are probably Star Wars bros at this point. I mean, that's a fucking life experience what you two got to do.
Yeah, it was so cool being able to experience it with him. He's an amazing guy, and he deserved it.
No, I've always liked Rebel Jawa. I mean, through Haywood Pop, I interfaced with him back in my early days. Again, tips. How'd you do that? He kind of sent me some Digirama backgrounds.
Right.
And he's always a guy, I don't know now because he's probably getting bothered a lot more with the following growing, and especially someone like Jared. I just know what it's like now with Star Wars time slowly growing. We're at 1,300, and every day now I'm getting multiple tags, some DMs here and there, and just trying to stay on track, all that shit. But Rebel Jawa had always just very nice, answer questions, very polite guy, helpful dude. So
yeah,
man, that's just it's so fucking cool. I'm sitting here who do I have to blow to get this type of opportunity? Because I'm ready for that at this point. I mean, 39, been trying to create Star Wars content in some capacity for at least 10 years now. Just hasn't got in front of the right person, but I'm so fucking pumped that it happened for someone like you, someone like Dan. Man. I mean, it's just so cool. I mean, it's just so awesome seeing you up there. So that's the other thing. What did you all get to see? I mean, did you get to tour all of Pinewood, or just kind of I'm assuming they have areas that's open for guests or visitors. I mean, what else did you get to do, at least for the live stream portion of this hookup?
So the live stream, we went to Pinewoods, and there was just kind of we kind of just we're doing what we're told, following the people we're supposed to follow. And they brought us into this one area, and it's basically it was kind of this one big VIP party, basically, for press and social media people that could see all this stuff for the reveal. And then there's a little stage there too where the live stream happened. So before and after, there were just kind of people hanging around, taking photos, this and that, but you couldn't post it until after the live stream. And they had some really cool stuff. They had a life-size X-wing made out of Lego outside, and they had a bunch of props from the movie. They had Kylo's lightsaber, Kylo's helmet, and they had Rey's / Luke's newly repaired lightsaber from The Rise of Skywalker. And they had the Yavin medal that they they received at the end of A New Hope. Just a ton of cool shit, including all the new products. And so a lot of these Black Series figures and stuff we had already seen because of leaks, but there was a couple of them that weren't leaked yet, and we were like, oh, whoa, I haven't seen that one, the Purge Trooper from Jedi Fallen Order.
I mean, let's be real. Leaks are one thing. I mean, seeing an image is okay, great, but you guys were seeing the motherfuckers in the flesh.
Yeah,
right?
And they were right there, and we wanted to just take them and home, and that was
That'd
it.
have been awesome. Like if you guys got like burnt with Lucasfilm because you were sticking figures down your pants and like ran out.
That would be quite the way to go down.
Yeah, Rebel Jaw was like, "Go!" You guys just fucking running out like, "Yeah, we got him."
But the thing would be is like there's only one of each figure, so who's gonna take them? Like, am I gonna take them?
Yeah, right. You guys would have
We
to
would
like
have fought
fight
over
each
'em.
other. Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, go ahead, Dan. You go first. You trip him, take the figure out of his hand.
But one of the other good parts was like everyone who attended got like a little goodie bag for being whatever the guest. And the goodie bags had a bunch of cool stuff, a couple Funkos, and each one of them had a Black Series figure. And my girlfriend was actually there with me. They flew her out too, which was the coolest thing ever.
Oh,
So
that's pimp. Chaos Cuties, right?
yes.
There we go.
Yes,
We'll
she
plug
was,
her up.
She was so happy to be there. And so I opened up my goodie bag, and I'm like, it's the Rey. I mean, she's great, but I mean, I already have her. Dang it. And then she opens hers up, and she's got the Mandalorian. And I'm like, oh, my God.
Ganked.
Yes.
Just reach in, fucking stole it, and slid Rey into hers. Like
Right, what's mine is hers, and what's hers is mine, so it works out.
even swap here.
Right,
Although
yeah.
she's never going to get to touch the Mandalorian, let's be real. Jared's going to keep that thing close to the vest. He hasn't blown it up yet, so.
I haven't blown it up yet. Yeah.
I'm sure it's coming, though. I'm sure it's coming.
It's coming.
Maybe
I
a
got some
couple
ideas.
shots. Yeah, all right, good. Good. Hopefully it involves fire and that blowtorch of yours.
Oh, it will. Of course it will.
So, how was the, I'm asking because at one point in time I was in the media business, video games at least, did a lot of great fun things out at E3 many years with media VIP parties. So
Cool.
How did Lucasfilm do? Was it good? They have good free drinks and good food?
Yeah, it was really cool. Like, they had an open bar, and the 2 drinks available were...
A lot of techno music and neon lights?
I think the music playing was like... It was clearly Star Wars inspired music, but it wasn't like
great,
official Star Wars music.
Most video game media VIP events are nothing but like wah wah wah, like. And I like EDM. I'm not shitting on it, but it's kind of a hard type of music to sit there and chat with other professionals or people who are trying to generate leads with this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
But I always like those scenes, man. I mean, it does kind of make you feel a little special to get into those VIP mixers where everything's free.
Yeah, the names of the drinks were cool. The one of them was a Finn and tonic.
Oh yeah.
And the other one was a Jedi mind trick. And
what's in that one?
It was like
Jedi
a raspberry something. I don't remember, but it was tasty, and I had a couple. So.
Oh yeah. You got to be careful with those things because when it's open bar, sometimes get a little too excited, and before you know it, you're like, oh shit. I might be a little fucked up, and I probably shouldn't be talking to strangers that are pretty high up and powerful in certain places of the world.
I was trying my best. Actually, I think Dan had a couple more beers than I did, and they asked us to do an interview, and one of the things they wanted us to do, they were like, I want you to sum up Star Wars in 10 seconds for someone who's never seen it before. And
hey, look at this guy. I mean, he's got a fucking killer British accent, by the way.
Just I've spent enough time with him at this point, I think. But like, so they wanted us to say everything about Star Wars, the whole story in 10 seconds for someone who's never seen it before. And so I have this great idea of how to do it, because that's actually pretty difficult.
Yeah.
And so I start doing it, and Dan chimes in, and he just starts getting into the most like in-depth detail about every little thing, and like we're going like 10 minutes at this point, and we haven't even finished the first movie, and he's just going on, and I had to interrupt him and just be like, Dan, I think we're being a little too specific, and the people behind the cameras are like shaking their heads.
He's like, you're like, but you don't understand, mate. Anakin was the chosen one.
Honestly, that was kind of how it went down, and it was like probably the most adorable thing I've ever seen.
He missed his mum.
Yeah, it was basically what happened, and so like I figured out a way to try and ease it up in 10 seconds afterwards, and he was, what else can you expect from a super Star Wars fan like him,
That's
he had a lot to say.
That was great, man. I think a lot of us are going to say we wish we could have been there with you guys. I know all of us would be. So the other one thing I want to ask you before we wrap up here is, what was it like sharing the stage with a legend like Warwick?
it was really cool. Like,
I love that guy. He's one of the best MCs out there at these Star Wars events. I mean, I've seen many of his panels at the celebrations throughout the year.
yeah,
He just seems like such an awesome dude.
he really was. Like, he really cared about you. Like, he at any time like we had to interact with him, it was so nice. And even the times like outside, like, he would always have something to say to you. He said he liked my shirt. And that was cool. And he cared about everything he had to say. He's a genuine guy. It was really cool, which, you can't always expect from,
Did you guys
you know.
have any chance to talk to him as a fan, or was it all just kind of, this is for the stream here we go?
Yeah, we did a little bit. Like, it was kind of funny. Like, we had to get our makeup and stuff done. And so
Gotcha.
the room we were in for that was the same room where Work was there and Eunice was there and Naomi was there. And we were just kind of like standing there while they were doing their makeup too, and we were like, I guess we're next. Yeah. So like, I got to talk to him a little bit in there, and he's just, really.
I mean, that guy's got to have some of the most epic of Star Wars stories, because he's been doing it since he's a little kid, and he's pretty much had a role or a bit part in every Star Wars property since. So,
Yeah, it's really cool.
He would know.
Yeah, he was the man.
And I'm glad you finally confirmed that it's Eunice, because my standard co-host likes to call him Junis. Or maybe I call him Junis and I'm blaming it on Nick, but
I would never have known until, they were talking and saying his name, on the live stream.
yeah, those
so.
Nordic people, they usually don't pronounce their J's and stuff. I'm surprised he didn't have any like umlaut characters over his O's or anything, but that dude, to me, he's another one that just seems like a fucking stellar human.
He was so nice. Like,
Yeah.
he was just a sweet guy. Like,
You can just tell he is overly grateful that
to even
he
be there.
kind of fell into this gig, and now he's taken over for Peter, and he's pretty much going to have the role until he gets too old and decrepit, I would imagine. Because, I mean, he's done a great job as Chewie. I think he's maintained what Peter brought to the character, while also giving Chewie a little bit of his, finesse back in terms of movements. Because poor Peter was, even in TFA, he could hardly even fucking stand the guy. I mean, just when you're that tall of a human, it's not healthy.
Yeah.
It eventually wears on your system. So, yeah, he seemed cool. Naomi seems like a good person. I really haven't seen her in anything else, but I'm excited to see what she does with Jana. So, it's rad you got to interface with these people.
Yeah, it was seriously like nothing less than an honor. Like, it was just so cool. Like, we would be there and be like, wow, we're literally here right now. Like, this isn't.
So, do you feel at this point, I mean, can you springboard this, or have you already springboarded this into other mega ops, or do you think you might ever get the call again?
I mean, it's possible. So there's a lot of things change very quickly with Disney, as I've learned through this. So actually, while I was there were some people from Hasbro there too. So I tried to, plead my case and, tried to build some kind of relationship. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe there's something there.
You need to get that hookup that it seems to be Nose Rain, Work More or Less, SWTS, Black Series, and Plastic Action.
Those guys.
They pretty much get gift boxes every month when Hasbro drops new figures.
And honestly, that's what I had in mind when I was talking to him. And I was like, hey, yeah, so I have an Instagram. And then I probably just babble on like an
you
idiot.
should just start with, I've got 45,000 followers. Let's talk.
Right. Honestly, I should have led with that one, but I didn't want to sound like a cocky asshole.
It's not. Well, yeah, you get what I'm saying. So it's not like you wear a shirt with a sign on it saying 45,000, but
hey,
your account has juice, man. I know you know that. You're not a fool, but I've been in the business forever. Like I said, Entertainment Boot. I started in 2010, all about video games. Got myself flown out to E3 as media for many years. I get the game of, hey, if you've got a website with a certain amount of following, we can do this for you. And I would think at this point, you would be a no-brainer for Hasbro. Like, okay, I mean, every shot he puts out is going to get at least viewed by 1,000 or more people at this point. So, hook the guy up.
I hope that's how they see it.
Let's go, Litsky PR. Come on. I mean, if you contacted my dead ass, you got to contact SirDork, right? I mean, they've never contacted me again, so I don't know what that means, but I've at least been asked by the people that handle Hasbro in the States to cook up some stuff for them to be featured at Hasbro events. So
yeah, it doesn't hurt to reach out too, like that's how things happen sometimes.
Maybe I'll slide you a contact here or there.
Slide into their DMs.
There you go.
All
right, brother. This has been absolutely fantastic. I've had a great time talking with you. Hopefully, I didn't wear you out. I mean, I honestly did not even anticipate we'd go an hour and a half. I mean, we're reaching Nick and Matt levels in terms of jabbering about Star Wars. But you know what that means? That just means we had a great dialogue. There was no him and or han or and oohing. We just riffed on it. So
I agree, man.
Thanks again.
It's been an honor. Thank you so much for having me. This has been so cool. Like, this is awesome.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent. And hopefully those of you that are into the toy photography stuff, hopefully you got some stuff out of this listening to one of the most popular accounts out there right now, SirDork730. And if he's willing, we're planning on having him back next week to do an episode of the Primetime Show with me, where he'll play more of a co-host role, where we're just kind of riffing on whatever's new in Star Wars land, and then we'll go through and do the top 5 Star Wars fan artist features of the week.
That would be the coolest thing ever.
Yes, I hope he comes back, because this has been an absolute blast. Great to talk to. Thanks for all the insights, Jared. But at this point in time, my friends, you know what you need to do. You need to get your happy asses over to StarWarsTime.net. Start clicking around. Look at the posts we've got up there. We do more than just share shit on Instagram, I promise you. Got videos, got news, commentary on the news, everything a Star Wars fan needs. So StarWarsTime.net. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that link up there. It says subscribe to podcasts. I promise you, you will find the platform of your choosing. And if not, you can even just take the damn RSS feed and plug it into whatever reader you want. And once you're there, we also have our YouTube subscribe links in the sidebar. Just help us out. Follow along, sub up, share it with a friend. Once you get there, please like, rate, review, comment. It all helps more than you could ever imagine. And remember, when you listen to the Star Wars Time Show, the Force will be with you always.